Hi, welcome back. I'm Nyx, your intuitive coach and energy alignment mentor, and this is your weekly energy update where we track what's moving through the collective field so you can move with it instead of against it. Now, this week we have three transits kind of shaping the energy field, and to me, they tell a pretty clear story. First, we have the sun that moves into Taurus on April 19th. Now, after all of that Aries fire, all of that intensity, all of that identity shaking stellium energy that we just moved through, and I hope everybody is doing okay out there, we have that earth energy that flows right in. Now, Taurus season is asking us to slow down, get grounded, come back into the body, stop living in the head, start embodying what you've been thinking about. So if you haven't watched my Taurus season energy forecast yet, please go and do so. The zodiac seasonal readings give you the blueprint of what that season holds. These weekly check-ins further guide your navigation through that energetic season, okay? Now, secondly, we've got Mars conjunct Saturn in Aries also on April 19th. So basically, the fire wants to keep pushing forward, it wants to keep burning, but that Saturn is coming in to put the brakes on it. So expect some pressure this week, some frustrations, maybe even some delays. This isn't to hurt or derail you, but it is the universe's way of asking you to better see how you react. Are you moving from a place of personal power or are you moving from a place of panic? Now, lastly, we've got Uranus that enters Gemini on the 25th of April. So your mind is about to wake up and essentially it's not going to go back to sleep. So there may be rapid shifts in how we think, communicate, and consume information. The external noise is probably going to get louder, which means going inward this week isn't just a suggestion. Try thinking of it as or seeing it as a necessity, okay? Now, just a reminder before we dive in, we do move through 4 cards each week. The first card highlights the energy of the week, the second card tells us what's being asked of us, the third card highlights the energy center calling for your attention, and the fourth card shows us how to hold it and integrate it all together. Now, with that being said, let's let the cards speak. So, first up, we have this one. And this is the crown. And this one's about personal power. Okay. And the number on the card is 28. Hope you can see that. I just want to talk about the numbers for a second. We have 28, so 2 plus 8 reduces to 10, 10 reduces to a 1, and we are in a universal 1 year. 2026 also reduces to a 10, which again reduces to a 1. So the start of a brand new 9-year cycle, the start of a new cycle, a major reset. 10 holds both endings and beginnings simultaneously, the closing of what was and the opening of what's next. So some of, if not all of you, are deep in that threshold energy right now. You can feel it even if you can't quite name it. So the energy this week is asking one question and is asking for us to be really honest here. How connected are you to your personal power? Okay, not your power as the world defines it, not the performance of confidence, not the highlight reel, but your actual internal embodied sense of self. Your fire, do you know it? Can you tap into it? Do you trust it? Or have you been quietly avoiding the very things that would align you with it? Now, last week's energy wasn't so much about how much fire you could output or how much fire you had to put out, okay? It was about the fire within. Do you understand it? Do you know how to wield it? Or are you still hoping it fizzles out on its own before you have to deal with it? Okay, so we are in the year of the fire horse according to Chinese astrology. Now, that's all about strength, independence, bold forward motion, passionate, driven liveliness. That energy is in the field this year, and it's not going to be subtle as we have seen and felt thus far. So, what I'm getting here with this card is that self mastery is the road to everything that you're trying to align to and call in. And this week is asking, are you actually ready, or are you still just thinking and talking about it? Okay. Now, next up, we have all paths lead home, and this card is about inner authority, intuition, and to turn your gaze within, which kind of aligns to what I said earlier, right? Going inward. Now, this card is specifically for the ones who want growth, who want change, who want elevation, but are still resisting themselves. Now, that is a very specific kind of resistance. You're not necessarily running from the process, but you're running from yourself. So like know the difference there. You're taking steps. You are playing the game. To the outside world, it looks like you're doing the work, but inside you kind of know that you're not entirely committed. You're still bypassing certain things, skipping certain steps, still not turning certain corners or opening certain doors. It looks like alignment from the outside, but inside, you know, it isn't, at least not fully. Underneath that, there's a quiet belief, like some part of you doesn't actually believe it's going to happen for you. So why fully commit? Why go all the way in, right? Better to just do enough to get by, just enough to keep up appearances, just enough to look like you're in alignment. And maybe that'll be enough, but we know it won't. And you know that deep down inside too, right? So what this card is, there we go, saying right now is you need to become the primary subject of your own study, okay? Your inner landscape, your inner terrain, your soul. The relationship that you have with yourself is the work, okay? The more you deepen that connection with yourself, the more everything else you're trying to build becomes attainable. Not necessarily easier, I'm sorry, but at least becomes more attainable, more aligned for you. We are, again, like I said, in that reset year, and a reset requires you to look at everything, pick up only the healthy pieces, and build better with more intention. That means letting go of the resistance, the avoidance, the comfortable patterns that feel safe but are keeping you small. You don't deserve to stay small, right? But start small if you need to. One self scan a day, one honest question. What has been calling to you from within for more of your attention, your love, your patience, your understanding, okay? Start there. Get into the habit of coming home to yourself before you consume anything from the outside world, okay? Because there is a lot. There is so much out there right now that is pulling you away from your inner home. So much designed to keep you mentally distracted and emotionally unsettled. So disengage from that when you can. Come home to yourself first, because that's where the real self evolution happens. That is where your answers actually live. I'm so sorry for the glare if that's there. Now, next up we have, so this is heart chakra, and this is gossip. Okay. So the question of this card that is coming through right now, stop glaring. Why are you rebelling against yourself? Okay. Not against other people, not against the system, but against yourself, against your gifts, against your talents, against the very things that make you different, against the parts of you that are meant to make you stand out. What is keeping you from this glare? What is keeping you from following your heart? Is it how you think people will see you when you fully own your own light? What they'll say, how they'll talk about you when you stop shrinking and start taking up the space that you were always meant to occupy. Hopefully, hold on. There we go. Your differences are not your liability, okay? Again, your differences are not your liability. They are your signature, your je ne sais quoi, so to speak. The thing that nobody else has because it is specifically, uniquely, entirely you. That's not something to be ashamed of, okay? This is not something to hide or minimize or perform so that you're more palatable for other people. This is power, beautiful, specific, irreplaceable power. Last week, the energy was asking you to reject conformity, if you remember, to stop being that sheepleton, somebody moving mindlessly with the masses instead of standing in your own light. So if that was the invitation last week, why are you still resisting the very things about you that would allow you to stand in your own lane, okay? Look at yourself through the lens of love, heart chakra energy. Pour into what makes you you, not with shame, not with guilt, not with resentment for being different, but with love, with pride, with a full understanding that your heart knows the way. You just have to let it lead, okay? Let your heart lead the way. Lastly, how we hold it together and integrate everything is through community. Now, community is not necessarily about fitting in, okay? It never really was, but it is about belonging. It's about surrounding yourself with the people who see you, who challenge you, who uplift you, and who push you toward your best self, even when you can't push yourself there. You're not meant to move through this alone, okay? So stop pretending like you are. Stop wearing your independence like armor when what you actually need right now is to let someone in. Real growth, the kind that we've been talking about, this happens in the presence of the right people when you are surrounded by those who genuinely align with your values, your vision, your energy. Your energy doesn't just feel better, it expands. It feels safer to expand. You become unstoppable in a way that you cannot manufacture in isolation alone. So this week, lean on your most trusted, whether it's one person or a whole circle. Reach out, let them know where you're at and what you need. You don't have to have it all figured out before you ask for support, okay? That's not how belonging works. The thing about people who genuinely love you, they signed up for this to show up for you, to support you when you struggle to show up for yourself. So just like you signed up to be that person for them, they signed up to be that person for you. You would feel some type of way if they were going through something hard and didn't let you show up for them, right? So it's the same thing. You do your people a disservice when you don't allow them to shine their light on your path while you find your way, okay? So reach out to them, let them in. And if somebody doesn't show up the way you need, don't judge it. Ask for clarity and leave it where it lands with love. And then just keep it pushing with the ones you can and are willing to show up for you, okay? You were never meant to do this alone. And this week, especially, don't do it alone, okay? Now, that is your energy reading for the week of April 19th to the 25th. If it landed for you this week, I want you to drop in the comments what is the one thing you've been avoiding within that you're ready to finally face. Be honest. You know, the comment section is a safe space, so let's talk. If you're new here or returning, welcome home. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss next week's update. And if somebody in your life needs to hear this one, please share it with them. As I always say, sometimes the most loving thing you could do is just pass the message along. Now, with that said, please take care of that beautiful energy of yours, and I will see you next week. See you.